Namaste. In today's video, I'm going to talk about certain things that we do knowingly or unknowingly, which bring about certain spiritual experiences within us. We are unaware of these spiritual outcomes when you do that particular thing, or when you have that object with you, or when you are into certain type of a practice. These practices can be devotional, they can be religious, they can be spiritual practices. And these practices, they stir up the Vayus that are there within our body. The Vayus are there within the Pranic sheath of our body. And the stirring up of these Vayus brings about certain types of symptoms which are very similar to Kundalini experiences. And these type of experiences can lead to psychic abilities. So I'll be looking into that topic today. In my earlier videos, I spoke about the different sheaths we have. We are not just the physical body. The physical body is the manifestation or the densest expression of our various other bodies. So within this physical body, we have the pranic sheath. The pranic sheath, it consists of vayus, the energetic movements that you experience in your body, the chakras, kundalini, they all are part of your pranic sheath. Then within that you have the astral body, that is your mental, emotional and intellectual sheath. Then comes the bliss sheath or the anandamaya kosha, and the jivatma is in this bliss sheath. Now, when we are into certain types of practices, these practices, knowingly or unknowingly, can stir up the vayus that are there in the pranic sheath. So, the pranic sheath has 5 types of major vayus. These vayus, they govern the various functions that happen at a physical level. We have the prana vayu, the udana vayu, apana vayu, samana vayu and vyana vayu. These vayus have various functions in our body. Sometimes the devotional practices that we do or the religious practices that we do, they can cause a little change in the flow or in the direction of these vayus. When that happens, it manifests as many different symptoms, and sometimes it can lead to certain types of experiences which people think are Kundalini experiences. But even when the Vayus are getting stirred up in the body, the Kundalini is still asleep in the Muladhara chakra. The Kundalini has not moved, it is not awake, but even when the pranic movements are happening in the pranic sheath, you can have certain experiences that are similar to the Kundalini awakening symptoms. For example, if I take Udana Vayu, Udana Vayu is the Vayu or the pranic movement which happens in a pranic sheath, and this flows from the neck above. So it starts here and it moves into the head. In certain situations, this can flow more. These situations are where somebody is trying to express themselves very creatively through art. People who do mantra chanting, they're chanting a lot, so they're using their throat for it. There's some people who only like to speak the truth. They have very high levels of integrity and they only speak the truth. When you do certain activities like this or actions like this, deliberately or unknowingly, you are causing the Udana Vayu to flow very strongly in your neck into your brain. When this happens, we all are aware that the brain centers in our head, that is this entire cortical region, brain centers and the other areas, they are connected to the Sahasrara chakra, that is the 1000 petal lotus. These 1000 petals that are there in the Sahasrara chakra, they have certain phonetic sounds associated with it. The same phonetic sounds are there in the lower chakras, on the petals of the various lower chakras, that is from the Muladhara chakra till the Agya chakra. The difference here is if there is one phonetic sound written only once in the lower chakras, it is mentioned 20 times in the Sahasrara chakra. For example, if I take the word va or the phonetic sound va, this is there in the Muladhara chakra only once. But at the level of the Sahasrara chakra, there are 20 petals which have va mentioned on it or written on it. So these petals that are there at the brain center, they are connected to that particular petal which is similar in phonetic sound in the lower chakras. For example, the 20 petals of Va that are there at the Sahasrara chakra level are connected to the Va that is there at the Muladhara chakra level. So when the Udana Vayu is flowing up very strongly into the head, say for example it is going around and it is felt as sensations, a lot of pranic movement happening inside the head. Many think that this is a Kundalini awakening symptom. This is not a Kundalini awakening symptom, but this mimics the Kundalini awakening symptom. What happens exactly here is this Udana Vayu that is flowing very strongly in the brain can activate some brain center. It can activate any petal of the Sahasrara chakra. And every phonetic sound, it has a connection with a psychic ability or some other type of siddhis. That is, certain types of blessings, certain types of abilities which are beyond the reach of a normal human. Those things can get activated in this person because one or two petals in the Sahasrara chakra have got activated because the Udana Vayu is flowing very strongly in the head. They attract certain abilities or certain types of blessings, and these can really change their life. For example, somebody could attract plenty of wealth, so much of wealth which otherwise he was not able to earn in his life. It just comes as a windfall. Some get sudden fame in their life, some learn new things, they gain new knowledge. Suddenly, scriptures and certain subjects which were beyond their understanding, now they can master those arts, or they can master different languages, or they un- download certain information into their head. All these sudden changes in life happen when the pranic movements are strong in the body. For some life changing situations, life altering situations, some are able to hear others' thoughts, some suddenly seem to able to see auras of others. So the different abilities associated with different petals that are there in our Sahasrara chakra. Now these phonetics which are there, every phonetic has a siddhi or a blessing or a psychic ability, whatever you may call it. It is attached to that particular syllable. Say you have stirred up vayus and the phonetic sa in your body has got activated, that petal has got activated. If it gets activated in the lower centers, it has an effect on the Sahasrara chakra, and if it gets activated in the Sahasrara chakra, it has an effect on the lower centers. So Sa is written 20 times in the Sahasrara chakra. Then the ability, it could be a blessing or an ability that is associated with the letter or the phonetic sa will come into that person's life. The person may not be aware as to why life has changed suddenly, why he has discovered new things, is able to master new psychic abilities. They don't understand the phenomenon as such, but they are aware that they are able to do something which is beyond their normal ability. Sometimes we are into certain meditative practices, certain spiritual practices. It could be religious, devotional practices. These practices also bring about a change in the direction, strength of flow of vayus in our body. Once this happens, we are changing at a spiritual level. The chakras in our body, the lower five chakras, that is the Muladhara chakra, the Swadhisthana chakra, the Manipura chakra, Anahata chakra, and the Vishuddha chakra. These chakras are associated with the five elements. In the Muladhara chakra, you have the earth element. In the Swadhisthana chakra, you have the water element. Manipura chakra is fire element. Here you have the air element. Here you have the space element. When we are undergoing certain spiritual changes in our body, these five elements within us also start undergoing changes. I made a video earlier on this as to how we can use these five elements to evolve spiritually. I'll post a link to that video in the description box below. Please watch it. You will understand what I'm saying even better. So when the Vayus are flowing very strongly, there's a change in the way, the pattern in which they flow. There is a change in the way the five elements are operating in your body. Here, now you're dealing with a lot of emotional stuff, your subconscious stuff. You will have dreams with regard to these elements, how they are changing inside of you when you're transforming spiritually. When the Vayu movements, the direction, the intensity, the pattern is changing, and the elements in our body are also undergoing a spiritual transformation based on how we are evolving. There is a chance in this level to attract a lot of astral beings, astral entities who want to get their things done through humans. They want to use humans as a vehicle so that they can do what they want to do through these humans as an instrument. Generally, these astral beings come into contact with that person. They offer something in return for something. It's generally name, fame, money, or certain type of abilities, occult. All these things come into that person's life. And some move ahead and make or form a pact with many of these astral elements or astral entities by which they now have access to certain occult practices, certain types of abilities or blessings that come from a lower level entity. This way, too, knowingly or unknowingly, the person is opening up his life to experiences which are otherworldly. Now, the lower level entities can only give you lower level blessings or lower level siddhis, and in the longer run, because of using the siddhis given by these lower level entities, the person takes on the karmic uh, outcome. And because he's taken on the karmic outcome, it will affect him negatively and his vibrational level will fall down. So he will have to move down to a level which is uh, very much lower than what he has actually started out in life. So his spiritual vibration will be lost once he starts milking the abilities given by these astral entities. Even when we are undergoing a spiritual awakening process, and because of our spiritual practices, we have developed certain siddhis and abilities, we have to always understand not to focus much on these, because in the longer run, when we are trying to milk these siddhis or abilities or blessings, we are taking on certain karmic baggage, and that karmic baggage can pull us down. Instead, we have to understand that we are now somehow able to access something which is beyond the physical dimension. Our body vibration level is high, and we have to further move ahead in our spiritual path and not put our attention much onto the uh, blessing or the psychic ability which we have got. We can use our psychic abilities as long as we are not causing harm to others, and it helps you and others around you for the larger interest or larger good. Otherwise, please do not focus much on these abilities. So what are those things which we do knowingly or unknowingly which can lead us to this position where we unknowingly attract a lot of blessings or psychic abilities or siddhis? Number one, mantra chanting. or using yantras. Mantra is the body of the deity. You can use both mantras and yantras to access a deity. When we are using these practices in our daily puja rituals or worship rituals for certain outcomes, or as a general practice, we are very likely to stir the Vayus in our body. Many devotional practices, people are into deep devotion. It does not matter in which god or which saint you believe in, as long as you are putting your entire love into that practice, you are opening up your heart to divine energies. That way also you will have, or you can attract these type of experiences. Some are using drugs nowadays. Many mind altering drugs like psilocybin, ayahuasca, or ganja. There are many types in this. Because many are into using these drugs have an effect at the level of a pranic sheath. Generally, people after having certain drug experiences, they now realize that there is pranic flow in their pranic sheath, and that the chakras, they can feel the chakras turning in their body. They have various experiences which are beyond the physical body experiences. They understand that they exist at the pranic sheath also. Then when we are into certain martial arts, especially that very slow moving martial arts like tai chi or certain types of classical dances, arts, um, singing, meditation, deep samadhi like meditative states, then certain pilgrimages where you are now going to a particular site which has the divine energy in copious amounts, and this has been a very old temple or a very old place where rituals are being conducted, or there's a presence of divine energy there, or otherworldly energy is present there. You meet certain people in that places who are already into spiritual practices. All these things can stir up vayus. That's why when people go to a pilgrimage, they have a sudden change of heart in certain places. That is because they're influenced by the energy in that place. Certain rituals which we do on a daily basis in our life, the puja or the worship at the altar that you do, which is a regular practice and you're doing it all your life. Long drawn spiritual practices or praying rituals or praying prayers that are done on a daily basis also can stir up this energy. Then spending time in certain places, it could be a place which is uh, very particular mineral structure in that place is causing a high vibrational level in that area. For example, uh, in India, you have certain pilgrimage sites which have very high vibration, like the Jyotirlingas or the Shakti Pitas or Tirupati. You have many famous temples, or just the places are very powerful. I've heard about Mount Shasta in USA, and then Mount Kailash in China. So there's many such places, and these are known to the local people. Then there are certain gemstones, certain crystals, certain holy threads that we tie around our hand, certain holy objects which we keep at our home or workplace, holy water. Many keep the water of Ganges in their house, and there are other holy water which is part of the Christian tradition too. Then, when we are into lighting lamps in temples, certain charms which we keep with us for goodwill, or we use to keep away bad will. You may be having certain objects. It could be the forms of deities or gods, goddesses, and that object was there in your prayer room or the prayer area for many generations, especially if these objects are made out of crystals. In such case, these objects have received immense devotion, they have received certain rituals, certain prayers, even from your ancestors. So these objects are very charged. And when we come into contact with these objects, it can stir up a lot of vayus in our body. Then, when we intentionally do yogic practices, when we are intentionally trying to change ourselves, when there is this intention within us to evolve, even certain music beats can also stir up vayu movements in our body. Here, these kind of experiences where the symptoms are nearly Kundalini like, but they are not a Kundalini awakening. The difference between Kundalini awakening and these experiences is these experiences can be temporary, they can come and go. And these experiences can be there with you all your life and they can bring about a change in a particular aspect of your life. But these experiences will not help you to grow spiritually. These experiences will not give you the experience that you are the Atman, or you will not experience the divine bliss which happens when we reach the bliss sheath within our body, or when we are experiencing the states of samadhi, that kind of bliss that comes with the Kundalini awakening process, that will not be there here. So there's no total transformation of the person. But this experience can still help you understand that we exist beyond the physical dimension. And any activity which you do, even if it is a very small, uh, activity where you are going to a prayer or you're going to a temple, you're trying to take some holy water or you're trying to tie a holy thread around your wrist as a wristband. Even these small activities can contribute towards a spiritual transformation if you are open to such experiences and when you understand or consciously undertake those activities to spiritually transform yourself. Thank you.